Okay, so Avatar Way of Water is coming out soon, Avatar 2, and James Cameron has really been in the news, like dragging it, like addressing the haters, also like eating up Marvel and DC, really getting on Marvel DC ass for doing the same things. I think, personally, I think that he's doing. Like Marvel and DC are doing some of the same things that you doing, bro, and you're mad. And I don't understand why when Avatar is the highest grossing movie of all time. Like I don't get it. Let's talk about it though. Let's talk about it. I don't want to know what y'all think. Okay, so very short articles I'm gonna get into, and then we can talk. I'm gonna talk during it as well. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know how we do it. So James Cameron's harsh criticism of Marvel and DC, they act like they're in college. This was a while ago. Okay, so I'll talk about this one and another article that was pretty recent. So James Cameron has spoken very honestly about his opinion of the Marvel and DC franchises that are responsible for many of the world's most popular films. He is not the first major person in the movie industry to take issue with the current crop of superhero films that are being produced at an incredibly fast rate. In the middle of the promotional tour of Avatar The Way of Water, Cameron gave an interview with the New York Times in which he criticized the lack of maturity that, in his opinion, the protagonists of Marvel and DC movies have. This is what he said, when I look at these big, spectacular films, I'm looking at you, Marvel and DC. It doesn't matter how old the characters are, they all act like they're in college. They have relationships, but they really don't. They never hang up their spurs because of their kids. The things that really ground us and give us power, love, and purpose, those characters don't experience it. And I think that's not the way to make movies. Cameron made this comment after explaining that the plot of the Avatar sequel takes place 15 years after the original story with Sam Worthington and Zoe Saldana's characters being parents. And because it's just like, girl, what? Because literally the paragraph before he said the characters never hang up their spurs, never stop doing what they're doing because of their kids. And now you're talking about, oh, well, girl, they got some kids. They're parents. Now your characters are parents. So I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, okay, anyway, so the characters being parents and becoming much more limited in taking risks. He said, as a father of 5, I say, what happens when all these characters mature and realize they have another responsibility beyond their survival? And that's the same thing that Marvel and DC asking when we get these, especially Marvel, when we get Young Avengers. Oh, hey. Anyway, so Cameron is not the first to publicly. Okay, so we don't have to read all that shit. Okay, the last one. James Cameron slams irrelevant Avatar cultural impact claims. So Avatar may still be the highest grossing movie of all time. And this is my thing here. It's like, if I had a highest grossing anything of any time, I'm just gonna be like, girl, whatever. If we stay in the lane of CGI and amazing ass visuals and our story is whack, then that's what we did. You know, that's what we did. Like, Marvel does not claim, I mean, DC and Marvel are not claiming to be like these bastions, these sources of incredible acting talent. We go there to see the fights, babes. We go there to see the camp. We go there to see that's what we do. So just stay in the lane and do what you do. I don't get it. If people are looking at any of my things or my work or anything like that and giving critiques, I'm like, okay, yeah, y'all said what y'all said, but I know what I know and I do what I do and I stay in my lane. Like, I'm not trying to be more than what I'm doing, or, you know, act like I'm taking up space in a category where I clearly know I'm not. It's just, I don't know. But Avatar may still be the highest grossing movie of all time, but you're lucky if you mention it without someone saying how it's failed to make any sort of cultural impact. Since the original film hit cinemas in 2009, mainstream cinema has changed. Most notably, the MCU has drastically evolved how studios operate, with shared universes and nostalgia dominating strategy. Avatar isn't operating in the same league. It was a one-off original sci-fi blockbuster, and James Cameron doesn't have time for people's claims about the movie. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Cameron addressed the claims of cultural irrelevancy mounting and surrounding Avatar. He said, there's skepticism in the marketplace around, oh, did it ever make any real cultural impact? Can anybody even remember the characters' names? And personally, I cannot. I cannot. Like, come on now. I cannot. If people are less likely to remember Jake Sully than, say, Luke Skywalker, that's partly because Avatar is only one movie into its mythology, and I still don't think that's an acceptable, or not acceptable, or just, it's not a comparable answer, because, like, there have been movies where it's like, we remember the plot, we remember who said what, we remember lines, we remember quotes, we remember characters, we remember what they were going through, we remember all that shit. So I don't, like I said, I don't understand why you can't just be like, okay, well, I know what my movie's doing, and my movie is about the CGI and the graphics and the visuals, babes, and just be okay with that. You're the highest grossing movie of all time. Be okay with that. He said, when you have extraordinary success, you come back within the next 3 years. That's just how the industry works. You come back to the well and you build that cultural impact over time. That's true, but it's just, anyway, Marvel had maybe 26 movies to build out a universe with the characters cross-pollinating, so it's an irrelevant argument. We'll see what happens after this film. And also, I feel like a lot of people are comparing Marvel and DC and all that shit. They had the comics to stand up on. You had Superman to bring people out, to build on top of. You got Iron Man's already comic book based, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? So you building on top of something that's already familiar in people's minds. I don't know if it's reasonable to compare those two things. That doesn't make any sense. So in an earlier interview with Empire, Cameron also said the trolls will have it that nobody gives a shit and they can't remember the characters' names or one damn thing that happened in the movie. Then they see the movie again and go, oh, okay, excuse me, let me just shut the fuck up right now. So I'm not worried about that. So here's what I think. Like I've been saying while reading the articles and stuff. I'm not going to see Avatar because I'm so moved by this story, girl. Like, let's be real. If we're going to see this movie, it's a Pocahontas. Especially the first film was a Pocahontas plot. It was a Pocahontas plot. We done seen plot like this over and over, where people come into indigenous society, somebody fucking falls in love with the indigenous person there, girl, and then this conflict from the colonizers. It's really not a complicated plot. But also, it's true that I don't give a shit about the characters. I don't remember the characters' names. I barely remember the main character's fucking name. A white man. A straight white man who fell in love with somebody who's, like I said, the Pocahontas story just flipped a little bit. So I don't get it. So I don't get it. When people say, hey, the plot is not groundbreaking, the characters are not groundbreaking, we barely remember their names, that's true. It's true. But, and there's a very big but. During the time the first Avatar movie came out, the visuals were absolutely astounding. The CGI was amazing, groundbreaking, absolutely groundbreaking. So my thing is that, like, just accept the lane. If you're not gonna change the characters or the depth of the characters, and you comparing Marvel characters to your characters and saying that Marvel characters, DC characters all act like they in college, if that's the case, baby, and as a Marvel stan and as somebody who watched DC shit as well, all y'all characters do the same shit. Like, there's like both Avatar characters and Marvel characters, like DC characters as well. I mean, I would say that, Marvel DC characters are obviously more iconic. But as far as the depth of the stories and their development and all that shit, y'all do the same shit. Y'all do the same shit. And I think the difference is that Marvel and DC both know that. As annoying as, DC has been recently trying to, gain their footing in this shit, they know that when it comes to their characters and stuff, they do their little work that they need to do. They make them as deep as they need to, but they make sure that's CGI, for the most part, girl. Let's not even talk about She-Hulk. But they make sure them battles, those fights, they know what we came there to see. We came there to see the girls scrap. We came there to see the girls fight. We came there to see them girls, the superpowers. We came to see Scarlet Witch disintegrate you hoes. That's what we came there to see, and it's okay. It's all right. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Not every movie has to be a character-driven, serious. We watch these characters develop. Not everyone has to do it. And if you accept what lane your movie's in and what the girls want to see and give a little bit of fan service, then that's it. They make your money. Kill it at the box office, and then go pump out the next one like we do in the American economy. Like you know what I mean? Go pump out the next one. But I just think it's so weird or so interesting, strange to me to watch somebody whose characters have the depth of a fucking kiddie pool. Like, come on, compare, point fingers at, oh yeah, Marvel's characters, they don't have no depth. Neither does DC characters. It's like, okay, but the difference is that Marvel and DC know that. They know that, and they're not fighting against the great. They're not fighting against the current of that. They're like, bitch, our characters just have to have a bad day or something shallow that everybody on the planet can relate to, and we hook them in. That's fine. That's all we need to do with our characters, and then make the powers go off. Make the powers go off. Make the action sequences go off. Make the visuals go off, and we're gonna be seated. We're gonna be seated. I think, when you veer too much into that, you get Thor: Love and Thunder. So, the characters have to have some kind of foundation, because Thor: Love and Thunder was so goddamn garbage. So the characters have to have some kind of foundation, some kind of depth, But to look at Marvel and DC and think that there's such a huge difference between their characters and the depth of their characters and the depth of their character stories and your character stories, when it's just like you literally served us Pocahontas on a CGI platter. It's like, I think there's some dissonance there. And like I said, if that bothers people, I think that, all you have to do is go in there and really make the change, really make the characters deeper, really make them memorable, make their actions and memorable and stuff, make their quotes memorable. I don't remember one goddamn quote from the first Avatar movie, but you remember a quote from fucking Star Wars. Even, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I think if you just accept the lane that it's in and go for it. And if not, if you don't like that, change it. But I think there's definitely a dissonance between what he's seeing and what we're seeing. There's dissonance between what he's seeing in Marvel DC and what he's seeing in his own characters. So I'm like, girl, y'all doing the same shit. Y'all do the same shit. Just make sure, all you have to do is make sure the visuals are on point. That's what we went there to see. That's what drew people to the movie in the first place. Not the characters, no shade, the visuals. And maybe that makes them uncomfortable, but it is what it is. And I just, like I said, I want to know if y'all agree with me with this, because I'm just like, girl, I don't know what he's talking about. But yeah, thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you so much for checking out the video, and I will catch y'all later. Peace.